Hi class, welcome back and welcome to the second video of the 2020-2021 school year. If you check out, we're back in B1 today. I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of the classroom today, a little bit more about what we'll be talking about here in this school year. And if you check out behind me, I've got the whiteboard, and only this time I've got a PowerPoint up on it. Now, I know it's kind of a clunky way to share the PowerPoint here on a video, so also these PowerPoints will be available in Google Slides. But I want to walk you around the room. I'll keep it brief. I try and keep all the videos to 10 minutes or less. Occasionally, very rarely, I'll go over that, but not too often. So if you check out right here, it says, welcome to room B1, classroom tour. There's no notes up here today, but if I click over here, we want to talk about this quote, which we saw yesterday. I want to put a picture along with the quote that I gave you yesterday from John Muir. He famously said, of course, that you can't study one thing by itself. This, of course, is John Muir over here, and this is President Theodore Roosevelt, who was touring with him at this time, Yosemite Valley. Now, if you've happened to see Yosemite Valley, gorgeous valley, about a 3-hour drive east of here, and there's another valley paralleling it, just a few miles away from Yosemite, just as spectacular as Yosemite. John Muir famously fought to keep that other valley, it's called Hetch Hetchy, from filling up with water. They put a big dam across it, filled up with water. That's where San Francisco gets most of its water. Why do I mention that? Well, yesterday you might remember the video was very dark in this room. We had a power blackout going on. The power blackout was caused because of the energy demand, and the energy that we get in this state is partly generated by the dams that back up that water all the way up in the Sierras. Let's go check out the next slide and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I talk about current events. One of the things that you'll see, and we'll get to the Yosemite thing right after I mention just a real quick thing, we use CNN 10 quite a bit. I'll put a link to CNN 10 in our notes every day. It's great for current events and see what's going on. As a matter of fact, I think a couple of days ago, and I'll double check it, they talked about some rolling blackouts that were happening in other parts of the country. But it's a really good resource because they keep it to 10 minutes. They design it for middle and high school students. It's a wonderful place to talk about things like, oh, for example, last trimester, they're talking quite a bit about the North Korean nuclear program. Now, North Korea, of course, is across the ocean from us, but these things still affect us. And we want to know about, well, what does a nuclear program, how do you do that? What does it look like? How does that even work? Those are the things that we study in science class. Oh, they talked a lot. These are the things that we talked about last trimester quite a bit. Ocean health, plastics and polymers. You know, of course, living here in Pacifica, that we live right next to the ocean, but the ocean is downhill from everywhere. It's important that we know about plastics filling up our oceans, displacing plankton, what's going on with that, how to stop it. And they also talked a little bit about hurricane and weather quite a bit last year. There's a lot going on in terms of the fires going on in South America, the fires going on in Australia, and a very active hurricane season. Just some examples of some of the things you'll see on the link on CNN 10. I'm gonna hit the next slide here. And it says, your classroom. If you check out, this is a picture of Pacifica looking down the beach. If you look at this cluster of buildings right here, IBL is right in that little cluster of buildings. This is our classroom. I'll walk you around it here with my iPhone here in just a second. But I also want to point out that our classroom isn't just the Sharp Park area and IBL off in the distance in this little classroom that I'm walking around in right now. Our classroom also entails this. If you recognize it, it doesn't have the outline of it, but this is California. As a matter of fact, this gets to what I was talking about a little while ago with the rolling blackouts that we had. See that snow that's going along here in the Sierra Nevada? As that snow melts, it turns turbines and dams, gives us electricity. When there's a huge demand for electricity, like there's been the last couple of days with the heat wave around here, once in a while we get these rolling blackouts like we had. We'll talk about why does that happen? Also, that's our water supply, that's our irrigation water. It has a lot to do with our drinking water, our food, and how we grow our crops in this state. And us over here in San Francisco, we have to know the science of what's going on up here in the Sierra Nevada because it affects us, it affects our daily lives. Check out one more slide. If you check out, oh, wait a second. Yeah, this is your classroom too. This is a picture of a spiral galaxy. We live in a spiral galaxy. Now, our galaxy is so large that we can't possibly get outside of it to take a picture of it and look back in. But our star, our sun, circles with about 200 billion other stars in a galaxy that looks probably something like this. And we'll talk about, well, how do we know that in the first place? You guys are in a generation that is privileged be one of the first generations to know these things. We want to find out, hey, how do we know this? And how does it affect us? It turns out this does affect us. This is our classroom too. So I'm going to reach over, I'm going to grab the phone, I'm going to do a very, very quick walk around, show you just a little bit about what to expect from your classroom. Whether or not we come in the 2020-2021 school year, well, you know what? I will still get out. We'll do a little, some field trips around Pacifica, and we'll learn our science based on, hey, how is this affecting me here at home? First thing to start with is the textbooks. This is one of the textbooks. There's also a online version, and there's another textbook that we also use. We draw from this. Myself and Miss Licata draw on this for 7th grade science. I'm going to pick up my phone and walk around just a little bit. You can see it's the standard classroom here with the door. Pile of textbooks right here. I've got one student sitting there already, which is, well, it's Doug the Bear. I'll talk about Doug the Bear in a little bit. But if you look at the classroom, the posters that are put up, and I'll just spin you around the classroom very slowly. Yeah, they're there partly for decoration, but they are put up for a really good reason too. We study, for example, the formations of mountains like that. We study, for example, a little bit of the periodic table. We don't get into it too heavily. You do the periodic table mainly in high school, but we certainly touch on it, and I want you guys to know your way around the periodic table so that you know what you're looking at when we go more deeply into things like in biology, like chemistry and DNA. Walking around the classroom this way, a little personal thing over here. Yep, I'm a Giants fan, but if you check out this right here, this is rolling. Oh, it just popped up. It's rolling on a magnet. We're gonna talk a little bit about, okay, how does that, let's see if I can get it to balance. I can't get it to balance. How does that work? If you look at the pictures of California geology up here, we've got a picture of Lake Tahoe, San Francisco faults over here. Again, we study these. These have a lot to do with evolution, with biology, with the geology that we learn. Finally, the last little thing I want to show you as I walk towards the door right here, a few more geology pictures right here because we study that in 7th grade science. And as I walk out the door onto your schoolyard, one little tiny thing to point out this way. This is our beautiful IBL campus. Looking forward again. I keep saying this and I'll keep saying it all year long. I can't wait to see you guys in person here on campus. Right over here. This is the San Andreas Fault. As a matter of fact, if you look behind me where Oceana High School is, some of you might end up going to Oceana High School. That hillside right there marks the San Andreas Fault. It marks a place where two giant continents come together, continental plates I should say, come together. And right up here, about a mile this way, just past a McDonald's, if you go up towards Muscle Rock, that was the epicenter of the 1906 earthquake. Here in Pacifica, we have so much to talk about in terms of science that I cannot wait to discover this and go through it all with you over the school year. Whether we're here, whether we're doing it online virtually, it doesn't matter. I love, love, love the subject. I'm very, very happy to have you in my classroom, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic school year. See you soon. I'm going to see some of you on Friday when you come on by to pick up materials, laptops and such. And I will certainly be in touch every single day from now on, 180 school days, through the YouTube, through my website, and look for the emails. Take care. Bye-bye.